now I would consider this a privilege to be hosting this event with.
We touched on 120,000 people. That is the only reason I worked there. So if we can drive the society towards that, I think that's what we really want to get at. So out of 350,000 who sits for A levels, 170,000 choose arts.
Welcome to another episode of Politics 2.0. Now today we have a very interesting person with us, and he's none other than Mr. Chathuranga Abeysinghe. Hello and welcome. So Mr. Chathuranga Abeysinghe, now I know about you, but I think the world, Sri Lankans specifically, they need to know about you and who you are. Who is Chathuranga Abeysinghe? So can you tell us a bit about yourself and the background?
Mika, my schooling starts in Kotta. So I got through the scholarship and went to Nalanda College, Colombo 10. And I did the commerce stream and got into University of Sri Lanka, did a degree in finance, then did CMA, CIMA and CFA a bit actually. I got through 2 levels of CFA. I joined the corporate sector in 2007 as a management accountant, and then I did finance, then moved into finance controlling, and then into HR analytics. And my whole pivot in my career happened in 2015 when I moved into data science and digital transformation. So from corporate life, I've achieved what I should as a professional. And from a personal life, I am father of 2 daughters. And I've been socially active and politically active for the last probably 3 to 4 years. My passion is basically, I learn a lot of things. I think I learn fast and sharing those things. So I've done a lot of coaching in the country. I have taught a lot of people. So that's my passion. So I would learn new things and share new things. I'm someone like that.
Okay, so I would consider this a privilege to be hosting this event with you. So people know that you are in for politics. Now, what are some of your hobbies and interests out of politics?
So out of politics, I'm more into music, 90s especially. And I love to dance. So every opportunity I get, I will dance. Apart from that, I like to watch science fiction. If I get a chance to sit down and analyze some crazy movies that you can't understand, I would love to do that.
So in that case, can you maybe share a memorable experience from your childhood?
From my childhood, on schooling time, I think one of the experience I can share. On local A levels, is even now, we are used to go for tuition classes.
Yeah.
So by the closure of, when close to the exams, you have these revision classes on weekdays. Right? So we used to go for those things. So, and we got caught. In the sense that the teacher in charge kind of one day asked why you guys are absent on a particular day, Wednesday. So everybody is giving various excuses grandma died and this and that, and I stood up and said I went to classes. So that was 10. She went blasting and blasted me and everyone, saying that you guys go to these places who are not qualified and all that, we can't be responsible for you in the exam. So it turned out at the end, they decided not to sign my application for A-levels.
Oh, that's bad.
That's absolutely bad. So then it was not only me, there was about 40 kids. So we had to go to the deputy principal. And we were on a line and he asked, why are you here and why you didn't get through your application? So I said, because we went for classes. And at the same time, I told him, the people who went for classes, not everybody is here. So if you're taking a decision, you're going to take a decision forward. So then he got the registers from the classes, and he himself called names of people who were absent. And half of them were not in that line.
In that line.
So I think that was a very interesting memory I have. So I was able to stood up for many children, my friends, and then the funny part is they signed my application and I got the best results in the school. So still it's a great memory that I can't forget.
Indeed, I think that's something that you should be proud of as well, getting the best results after all that hassle.
Yeah, I mean, I think for learning piece, I think for the youngsters who are listening to this, I think learning is an art. And if you get it right, you will get everything right. So I had this ability to concentrate in the class. I don't go and memorize. I concentrate mostly on the class. And then I have this way of, memorizing in pictures. So I think by A-levels, for my economics, I knew I probably have 98 by the after the exam. So I think there's a learning. Learning is an art. If you are passionate about it, I think what you need to know is you shouldn't have anything you don't know. So if you go to that extent, I think exams are not a big.
Now, since we talked about your education side, now you do have a degree in finance as well.
Yeah.
Now, can you tell us what persuaded you to pursue such a degree, a hard one?
So those days we were not guided. I think even now the children are not guided properly. So I chose commerce because it's easy than science and biology. My family is from, my dad is a doctor. So everybody's expectation was me to become a doctor. Then I said I'll do commerce because I played cricket for school. So I knew that playing cricket and studying doesn't go together well. So my ambition that those time was to do commerce, play cricket and get into a bank and go. So then I passed the exam because it was with the National Bank I got. So Jawaharlal University, second batch of finance. So at those days it was considered one of the most exciting fields to get into financial management. And I chose that. Again, asking various people, not because I really wanted to, asking someone what would, make my life better. Still children do that because you are not able to figure out yourself.
Exactly.
And so that's how I ended up with finance, and I loved the subject. I think it gave me a lot of value and even today.
Undoubtedly. So, coming into some more personal questions. So, what is something that you are currently reading or watching and that you're really, really enjoying apart from finance?
Yeah, so I think now my passion is to read about politics because now I know what we have been taught from school and society is wrong. Absolutely wrong. So there's a website called New Economic Thinking. So that site is absolutely being clear about the two main problems in the world. The two main problems is about inequality and the deterioration of environment. So the whole world is fighting to find resolutions for that, solutions for that. I think that's a huge mind shift for me to read about inequality and read about the environment and the flows of the neoliberal capitalist system that is going to end this world for good, and unlearn things that I learned in school and learn new things. So my passion is now to listen to various schools of thoughts and to try to build my vision around it, learning from from what's being taught, what's being implemented, and what the scholars are saying. So my current passion is to, my exploration is on political reading and TED Talks, I would say. Every week I need to listen to something new.
Now, that's actually very interesting. So you're trying to learn something new every day. So apart from that, Now, since you have been coming up with your own decision making and all since school time, who would you say some of your most influential people in your life, or who are the role models in your life?
So if I'm to say about role models, I would have learned from many people, right? But if you really think of who shaped me to become a politician even today and to work for wider community than yourself is my dad. So he was a government servant and he lived with principles. I mean, I am realizing it now, right? He was a doctor who didn't do private practice. So those days we were confused. Everybody's having a lot of money and all that. My father comes home at 5:30. So then only now I realize why he did. And then we got the opportunity to go to UK in '94. I remember 1 year staying there. We were so comfortable and enjoying the new life. So we were crying so much. Me and my brother was like almost dying to say we can't come back. So, but he decided that we need to come back because he wanted to serve the country. And his choice of his profession. Now, even in medical field, you can choose many things. Right?
Exactly.
So he has chosen community medicine or like epidemiology. That is to serve a wider audience. And in terms of life decisions, he was very calm and quiet, which I'm not. But there's a lot to learn from him.
Highly doubtful, though.
I think there's a lot to shape your life from him by watching. He's not teaching me anything. Never he has talked to me about politics or his political ideology even now. But you can watch him and learn. So still I'm watching him.
You're watching him and learning. So since you're watching him and learning, let's tell the people how a typical day of your life looks like. A typical day in the life of Chathuranga Abeysinghe.
Life of Chathuranga Abeysinghe a week ago, before I give nominations. So I would basically, start day with in the morning with children. We have to get them to school, and then I go to work. So I have a work day of about till 5:36, and then basically I always utilized about 3 to 4 hours for social work. So even before politics, even before I'm getting into real active politics, there are projects I'm handling like education project on voice for education, and we had an organization called PWB. So it was all about trying to utilize my full capacity. That's how I mostly stay with children in the weekends. Weekdays I'll fully utilize myself close to about 9 o'clock. So it was very routine, I guess. So now things are changing.
What is the change now that you can observe?
So we talked about politics, we said so many things, and we use social media to educate people. But this active politics of your contesting, it sounds so much different, right? So now I've been meeting multiple people on the ground, going to places, talking to them, and trying to understand their different needs. I think it's big.
It is very big.
It is very big, and the life will evolve around community now, more than what I used to do. The corporate life of closing your computer at 5:30 and enjoying your evening is no more. I think there's a lot of unanswered calls already. So I think, we came here for a purpose. I think even the life changes, that was a conscious decision. So I think I've done my bit in corporate and my professional career. So I want to really give 15 to 20 years back to the society, because I believe politics is the only way that can change the society. Because I tried social work, I tried volunteering, it doesn't work. The system will never get fixed.
Exactly. Now, that being said, Mr. Chathuranga, what is the personal goal that you are working for in your life?
So when it comes to personal goals, comparative to everyone, I think I've achieved what I want in terms of my financial, family, those things, right? But my personal goal is to make a difference. I really want to use this life to make a significant change in people. So even it's a personal aspiration. I really want to make a change because it's personal to me. If I can make change, for example, at the last organization I worked, we touched over 120,000 people. That is the only reason I worked there. Because it changed lives of 120,000 people. So now this particular stint of my life is also to make changes in people's lives. So that is personal to me. But when it comes to what generally people talk about, personal achievements, right, in terms of financials and wealth and all, I think I have achieved what I want. And it's going to continue because I have a good profession. I can work few days and probably earn the same amount I earned in a corporate. So I think my whole life will evolve around how to make a significant change and also to inspire others to make that change.
Significant change and inspire others to make their lives better or to make your name remarkable?
I think it's to make the wider lives better. I'm pretty sure a person who makes changes will get recognized. That's how the world
That automatically
works,
happens.
right? Because not many people would move out of your comfort zone, right? So if someone moves out of the comfort zone and do it right, that's the unfortunate thing in the world, right? If you fail, you will be nobody. If you succeed, you will be somebody. And I will fight for it, right? I don't know whether I'll succeed or I will not succeed. It's not only me, because I've chosen a great team, equally passionate to change this world. And I think with that, we will always win. We will always be happy of what we do because we are not doing anything that will give us anything back in an individual way. So, as individuals. So, I think, as you correctly said, it will be my name as well. But it should make changes, make people to come into politics. I really want to make that happen in Sri Lanka. Because nobody is willing to come into politics.
Exactly.
Because people think it's a very difficult place. It's not for good integrity. It's not for values. It's so and so. Because now we have given up. So my purpose of coming here is to get more and more people to come into this, like me, with a good intent. So if we can make that change, if I can show that it's possible and survive in this, I think that's a big thing.
Now, since you said that people actually do despise politics and they don't like to get into politics here in Sri Lanka, especially the youth. Now, what do you think happened? Where did we went wrong? And who do you think is responsible for that?
So, Mika, first, I think we don't understand politics, right? So, if you go to the definition of politics, right, it's about a geolocation. There's resources and there's people's needs, right? So you need to have a system that can fulfill these people's needs and improve their lives continuously. And then you appoint your representatives in order to do that. That is called politics. Right?
Exactly.
But in Sri Lanka, politics has been defined as there's a team who do politics and there's citizens. Now, politics is about citizens.
Exactly.
And citizens getting what they want. And I think we need to now educate enough. I'm doing politics is not for me or my party. I'm doing politics for you. And if the citizens are not political, they are not politically engaged, this doesn't mean that you support one party. When you say politics, it's about being able to utilize all the resources that we have and commonly improve the lives of everyone.
Exactly.
Right? So if that is politics, we should all be doing, I think you are also doing politics now, right? By interviewing me.
Exactly.
You're educating the people. And that, the other piece is the corruption and the power. So in this country, the culture's been such, politics is used to rule people. So the system is, I think this is not only Sri Lanka, India also, is the politicians want to retain power and grow power where they want to keep 70 to 80% of the people in poverty. So that's what we see as politics. That's why someone can't really come up, right? And they will deprive those rights, the education, the entrepreneurship, and the ability to earn. So your franchise is always dependent on something. So you are dependent on someone. So that is the politics we have played. I think 2022 July it changed. Right?
It did,
People
indeed.
realized there is more power. There's power in us. And if you use it wisely, things can change. So now I hope it will change, and it is changing. So that's the reason why people don't aspire to become politicians. So if you ask a youngster in school, who would like to be a politician? Well, nobody. Right?
Exactly.
There will be somebody who would think like, if I want to gain something, earn something, I would go to politics. But politics definition itself, we need to now understand deeper, and every citizen has to do politics. Your life is politics. What you eat, what you don't eat is politics today. If you don't have your cheese in the refrigerator, it's politics. And if someone dies on the road, right? We saw very recently a scientist died on the road, Vimukti. It's politics because the people who did the road has no accountability, and there is no system to hold them accountable, and there is no future process that will ensure that it won't happen again. It's politics, right? So we all need to understand this.
Now, I have to agree to the point where you said that you've taught a lot of people, and I'm pretty sure they've understood it very well, because I understood everything that you said very well. It was crystal clear. Now, coming back to your personal questions, can you tell me something that other people do not know about you?
Okay, so it relates to my corporate life. I don't think even the corporate knows about this.
First time live on Relaks Media.
So I was given the opportunity to, I'll give you the background. So one of the board meetings, I was part of a startup, and we presented a proposal to the board. We worked very hard on that, and it was, disapproved.
Oh.
So I was 29 then. I closed my book, and the pen slipped away. It was with little bit of rage.
Okay.
So it was chaos. So the leaders got very panicked is on my behavior, and I was like, shouted at. And some leaders left. I thought that's the end of my career.
Okay.
Went home and wrote the resignation also. But then I was coached by my immediate leaders. That's how things are. Things happen, but it doesn't mean it's end. And you need to behave. You need to control yourself. But the funny part was the directors who did that, who got upset about that, 2 years later went looking for me to go to India to set up a business. So the reason they said was, we want someone with the same passion to go and set up another organization in India. Very tough journey. It was 170 kilometers away from Chennai. Rural area, it's like a desert. There's nothing else for those people to do. They were doing sand mining and some garden, some vegetables. And we put up a factory. I learned so much in that. It was called my PhD because everything that I had to learn new. I've never worked with SAP or the systems for manufacturing. I implemented that. Banking and finance in India, rules and regulations in India, working with machinery suppliers and all that, we got it running after 2 years. And different culture, working with, I don't know Telugu, right? But I worked with people who speak Telugu. So I think that was a transformative thing. I think the pain that we went through during that 1.5 years, I don't think even the organization knows. So it's about, holding on to each other, doing the right thing, getting things off the ground. That was a remarkable experience. I was able to write a book on it after I came down, but it's an internal book. It's not published.
Okay.
But how to go overseas. So that is something that not many people would know because they would see me on the CV. The CV does not tell that story.
Exactly.
That's amazing 2.5 years.